Hi, everyone. Hello. How are you doing today? Surprise, I'm showing up on a different day than I normally do, but I've missed you and I have a few things that I've been mulling around in my head, and I thought I would bring them to you because most likely if I'm having these thoughts, other people are having it as well. And I wanted to talk about, how do you believe in your own intuition? You might be thinking, Jamie, you've been doing this your whole life, professionally for 30 years. Why are you having this question? We'll get into it. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Jamie Butler. I'm the Everyday Medium. It is my complete love and passion to kind of normalize the woo-woo and bring it to the table and help us just build our intuitive skills as normal and natural as possible. So if you are live with me, please put those fingers to the keyboard, contribute, ask questions, and let's get into it. And hi to those that are here. Hi. How do you believe in your intuition? I'm pausing for dramatic effect. I want you to really think about it because it dawned on me the other day. Is it believing or trusting? And so I sat down and I looked up the difference between the two. So here's what I want to talk about. And D is responding, she knows how when it doesn't go away, which is a really solid point. Believing is more of a temporary concept. So it's to accept something that you want to be real. That is the belief in it. Trust is a more stronger kind of action. It's a commitment, and you're fully aligning your actions with the belief, and it has confidence in it. So it's not so much about, I am just going to have more of a blind faith and believe that it exists. It is a trust. And it just had me going, oh, I've had so many questions where students and clients come and they're like, Jamie, just how do I believe in my abilities? And it's always like a belief system. And I teach a lot about how to trust your abilities, to validate and trust. But I've never substituted the belief for a trust. So how do we trust in our intuition? For me, Sheldon says, I love validations. The more I get, the more I trust. Yeah, those absolute real experiences that you cannot deny or break down and dissolve. That is it. So I was thinking about, for us here who maybe have been on the journey for a little while and then all of a sudden your abilities just blossom. Have you been having that lately? Because October 2024 is a lot about shifting and changing energies, which is going to naturally change your perspective. But overall, in 2024, there's been a lot of new energies coming in, new frequencies, growth, and we're adapting differently. So we could have plateaued with our intuition for a little while, and then all of a sudden we're 60 miles per hour, and we're experiencing things like timeline shifts. We're experiencing not just the deja vu. It's as if we are living in another time frame, and then we jump back to the present, but we have memories of all of them at once, and it's starting to get a little bit more sticky, if you want to say it that way. And then for those of us that are here that are just starting off, I mean, you're coming online with your intuition at a time where it is moving at light speed. And so 0 to 60 is going to be just a natural launch. And the way that I've been thinking about connecting to intuition is, what can I eliminate from my human day-to-day? This is kind of fun, and I would love to know your thoughts. What would you eliminate from your day-to-day routine or humanness actions to help cultivate your intuition? As humans, we are better at saying what we don't want than what we do want. We're kind of aligned to look at what might harm or do risk assessment more than align with absolutely what we want to manifest, because sometimes we don't even know what that is. So what would you eliminate from your day-to-day routine to help cultivate intuition, Colleen is jumping in and saying, minimalize screen time, all screens. Well, Colleen, thanks for joining us on your smart device or your computer at this time. But I see what you're saying, to minimalize it, not to be glued to it, not to be on it. It's almost like we're nursing on it some days. And for you, it's part of your career. We're talking about Colleen Ziegler. This is my assistant. She's at her place across town, chatting on the thread. I was thinking to eliminate second guessing. It kind of scared me a little bit, but I was like, what if I just only went with the first hit that you get, that first knowing, that like that body just going, yep, and not going, well, let me spend another 24 hours thinking about it and using only one of my faculties of reasoning rather than also including emotional intelligence, body intelligence, soul intelligence, but just thinking about it, maybe writing a pro and con list, mulling it over. Nope. I think I'm going to say no to second guessing. Could 2025 be the year to say no to second guessing? It kind of scares me a little bit. Colleen is also adding another great suggestion, which is letting go the need to know, which is something else I wrote down. My second one was to, as an intuitive, there's so much pressure that being intuitive can put on you, like surrounding people. You must know everything. I've had people come up to me and go, do you know what I'm thinking? What are the lottery numbers? Like yes, I can communicate and see energies and those who have transitioned, and I've done some incredible work, but I'm not all knowing. Sorry, I'm not. And I'm not 100% accurate. It's just a thing. And I'm not 100% accurate because the way that I'm viewing it and listening to information and absorbing information may not be the way that you do. Or you may not be able to connect or understand to what information I'm giving across. There is a degree of miscommunication every time you open up your mouth because we're using words. So it's going to come to, you're not going to be 100% accurate. So if you are putting pressure on yourself to be absolute accurate or not speak up and just hold all of your abilities on the inside, I think that's putting too much pressure on yourself. We have to be realistic. Let's just put it there. I wonder what you're thinking about that one too. Tiffany is agreeing with Colleen, but adding staying off all social media. Okay, I get it, but I'm also looking at the word all and staying off. And I'm wondering if there could just be a degree shift, like Colleen's statement of minimalizing. Not that I'm saying I love social media. I'm actually not on it often, but when I am, I find it very entertaining. So there are the goods, the bads, everybody has their judgments to what screen time and TV and movies and entertainment and news. News? There's something I've stepped away from, news, broadcasts, and social media can offer. So if it really is impeding into your life or you find that you have that addictive behavior, then I can see why you're making the statement of like, just get off of it. It's just not good. How about adding more time in nature? I didn't even put that on my list. The two big things I put we're discussing if you've just come in, what things, actions would you remove from your daily routine or your humanness to help harness your intuition? Because we're just looking at what to remove right now, and then we're going to jump in what to add. So we have heard screen times, we've heard social media. I've added in no second guessing, just stop it, go with the first one. And then I also added to release the pressure of being 100% accurate. Because every time you open up your mouth, there's going to be some degree of miscommunication. There's going to be some degree of me not wanting to hear what information you've given. So therefore, I'm not accepting it. Um, there's, we could just go down that one for a bit too. Strange Fruit 2311 is sharing. Yes, I think trust vibrationally is just a step below belief. The hierarchy is like faith, trust, belief, knowing, being. Interesting. I like how you laid it out. Sheldon says, I need to learn that everyone has their own beliefs or truths, and that it's okay if they believe something happened differently. That's an eye opener. We could be in the same room having the same experience, but we're going to come out with different stories. And that's just the way it's going to be. So, yes, a lot of agreeing. Dee says to release tension. Yes, I agree. So, looking at the body, what is the body carrying? How about doing more body assistance to be on your body's team? Because it's kind of crazy. We have so much marketing and so much education wrapped around how our body needs to be acceptable, to be seen as healthy. And then we aim towards that and we just completely remove our body's voice. So, in releasing the tension, that throws me into what would you add to your day to day life? And what I would add is listening to your body. That's a big one on my list. Listen to your body. What is it telling you? I mean, if you think about it, you trust your body and how it communicates to you when you're hungry, when you need to use the bathroom, when you're hot or you're cold. You're like, ooh, I'm hot. And so you immediately tend to it. I'm cold. You immediately try to tend to it. The restroom, the food, the drinks. Well, some of you I know get thirsty and deny yourself. Speaking of thirst, Big Red is here. If you're playing the game, take your shot of tequila right now. Okay. Or am I? No, stay hydrated. I'll just keep this in my lap. That was delicious. So, hydration is something that if you haven't learned how your body reacts to being dehydrated, you might overlook it. Same with rest. Like your body might tell you it's tired, but are you following through? Are you following through and resting? Or do you have a very similar belief system to what I have, which was, you know, resting is, oh my God, what was the saying in the Baptist world? Um, something about the devil's work. Um, taking a break is the devil's work, not doing is the devil's work. So it was always valued more to be productive and to be in action rather than resting. And so it took me a long time to unwind from that little belief system. Again, belief is temporary, so I did grow out of it, but I had to realize pausing was actually a choice to pause, and pause, as my spirit guides have taught me, creates momentum. And when pause creates momentum, then me stepping back, all of a sudden I have all of this room to fly forward into whatever I'm doing. And when I pause, my intuition gets stronger. Tiffany's saying, okay, replace social media with reading books. Yes. And Judy sharing, just left work, so I'm sitting in the garden to release before going in the house. Oh, I really enjoy that practice. I appreciate my garden so much. It's like as soon as my hand touches the gate and I get into the tiny front yard, I'm like, hi, everybody. Like, can you hold this for me? Can you take this for me? Can you recycle this? This is what I was working on today. And I don't want to do that when I walk in the front door. I enjoy that. Strange Fruit saying 100% our body consciousness does not get enough credit for its wisdom. I agree. So, okay, we talked about things to eliminate. So I heard focus. We're going to shift focus. I also heard that giving more room to first instinct instead of second guessing. I also heard environment shifts and listening to the body, giving the body more credit. What are we going to add? What do you add so that it helps validate your intuitive abilities? Think about it for a second, like really get into it. What are you going to add into your daily routine or to your humanness, whatever that looks like for you, that's going to help you build trust with your ability? How do you trust your ability, your intuition? Intuition here is going to be a blanket statement that covers all your clairs, even if you're multi-clair. So that would be claircognizant, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, clairgustance, clairolfactory, all of it. Idle minds are the devil's playground. That's the same lesson I was taught in Catholicism, says stranger fruit. That's it. That's the one. They have a very similar thing in the Baptist world. Oh, Lorraine is adding in spend more time living in the now and not keep thinking on the past. So staying present, being in the now. Oh my gosh, Lorraine, if you're still here, can you give me 3 ways that you're going to practice that activity? 3 how-tos or 3 things that you might bring in to stay present? Because I found that so much of our life is like, what are you doing next? Have you scheduled that? Have you thought about that? When are you going to the store? What are you going to buy? We got to get ready for that. That's all future forward thinking. And then all of a sudden I'm living like 10 minutes ahead of myself. I'm living 3 hours ahead of myself and I'm not here. And then sometimes I just have to snap out of it and be like, what's happening? Do you know, thinking of snap out of it, one of the things that I would say if I was asking the question to myself, Lorraine, is I would put one of those fat rubber bands, like if you're at the grocery store and you buy some broccoli, it comes with that really cool, like green or purple fat rubber band. And it's just big enough you can fit on your wrist, I guess, being petite, I don't know. But I can put it on my wrist. And it's fat enough for me to take a Sharpie marker and write on it, write the concepts that I really want to help myself stay in contact with. So you could write, stay in the now or be present. And then every time you look down, you're like, I see it. There it is. I'm staying present. Okay. And you reset your brain. Or you could purchase a bracelet or a piece of jewelry that you've embedded that thought into and you purposely bought it and you said, this is to remind me to stay present. And you put it on and you wear it. Every time you look at it, you go, okay, what is my body doing now? Observe feelings, observe emotion, observe quality of thought, observe environment. All right, I'm here. Where do I want to go from here? It's so crazy. Like that whole not staying present, I get caught up in what's coming down the pipeline. And then I miss, it's like true confessions. I miss, even though I'm highly sensitive, I get really dedicated and I'll miss like a beat or skip, which could have led me into a completely different direction. That would have been maybe a little bit more easier, a little bit more fulfilling. But I have developed this. I have to stay on and be loyal, be reliable, be consistent, because I came into this world with these sensitivities, but I launched my business at a time where inconsistency in this kind of field was seen as not reliable. You were just automatically crazy. There were all kinds of words that went with it. And I was like, but I'm not. I'm not crazy. And I am here and I am doing my best. So I ran my natural intuitive abilities like a business so that I could be seen as reliable and seen as someone who was normal, because my deepest need was to belong. I didn't want to be different. And so I shaped them that way. And so I find that when I'm not present, sometimes I skip over that one little beat or that thing that could have veered me off. It's really interesting. You really know yourself. So one thing that I would add, besides listening to your body, is really be honest with yourself. You think that's a given? Why do you want to lie to yourself? I don't know. Easier? Less painful? I don't know. Be honest with yourself. Sometimes things are out of your control. And sometimes, you want to write it off, or, I was out last week with a friend, and I was having a deep frustration, like just, I'm doing my best to raise funds to reopen the center and to get our community together in person. And like you, being an energy sensitive, sometimes being a heavy business head is not really compatible. And so these two concepts were pushing on each other hard as I'm presenting to corporate minds. Here I am, not wishy-washy. I know exactly what I want to create and build, but my exact creation doesn't fit into a corporate definition. And so I thought that in my emotion that I was, you know, I don't even know how to explain it, but not being accurate. I was being very difficult on myself. And my friend was like, I'm observing this. You're being very hard on yourself. You're criticizing yourself. You don't think you're doing enough when actually you're doing way too much. And what's going on is your nervous system is not regulated. And it's not regulated because whom you're speaking to and whom's supposed to be on your team doesn't understand where you're coming from. And it was just like, what? Just hit me that it was all about my intuitive abilities, but I was trying to be very human in the process, and it just didn't work. So if I were a little bit more honest with myself with what exactly was going on, I would have spoken more from my sensitivities and my intuitive side. So I would add into this to be able to trust your abilities, your intuitive, all your clairs, all your psychic stuff, all your healing abilities. Be honest with yourself. That also, if you're just thinking of the lying aspect, it also goes for the other aspect when you're really freaking incredible and you're spot on and you have absolute knowing, and then you go, I'm just not going to talk about it, or I'm not going to share it. And you just put your head down, maybe later. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just stupid. And you start undermining yourself before you even open up your mouth. Can you just be honest that you have this ability and it's real? Caesar's saying, I just wanted to share with you that when it comes to an eclipse, my intuition is not all there. Eclipses are wild, aren't they? They affect people in such different ways. For myself, it made it more to the surface. My intuitive abilities were more here. I wasn't able to really embody them that well. It just kind of lifted up. And for some people, it just kind of puts them to rest. Strange Fruit said, oof, that resonated, that story, that desire to be normal. Still integrating that. Yeah. It's so nice to be loved and accepted and just seen as absolutely all right when, in the middle of a meal, you realize the energy is too thick and you need to step outside. Instead of being looked at, too sensitive again, there she goes. Like, I don't know, just ignore her. She just does her thing. No, don't ignore me, please. I'm doing my best and I needed to step out so that I could care for myself. I'll be right back. Tiffany, thank you for the energy, love. Thank you. Lorraine is talking about getting grounded. So adding into your daily routine or humanness, some walking in back garden and bare feet. Being grateful for everything you have now in the moment. Being grateful for everything you have now in this moment. Like my health. An act of gratitude is amazing to add. And it's strange, but even the act of gratitude is a practice of acknowledgement and acceptance and connection. You know, the act that you're receiving, holding, and acknowledging, even that will build your intuitive strength. So we've gone over the difference between, is it that how do we believe in our abilities? How do we believe in them? Or how do we trust in them? And so I'm flipping the dialogue to get into trusting, which is a commitment to align to your actions with your belief. So you are committing to align to the action of being intuitive. So if your body cringes when a certain topic pops up in conversation, apply honesty, apply listening to your body, and do something about it. Apply the first reaction, not the second guessing, like, oh, well, it could have been that I ate that burrito earlier. It could have been my pants are too tight. I don't know. And then you ignore it. Intuition is speaking so loudly to each of us, and it's just going to get louder, guys. And I think if we hold some dialogue and talk about the ways that we are going to allow this to get stronger in our day-to-day life and be a part of who we are and not a tool that we use, not something that we just go to and pick up. It's not just over here. You embody it 100%, that it's going to be a lot easier for us to accept it in other people. Is the same acceptance you're looking for, other people are looking for. So how do you give that leeway? How do you do that? Because sometimes when somebody else agrees to, I don't know, maybe you ask them, hey, do you want to go out tonight, 8 p.m., tonight at 8 a.m., Whew. Tonight at 8 p.m., I'll pick you up, this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. And it's 7:55 and you get a phone call. Hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't think that I could do that, but I could maybe go to this smaller place and do something shorter. I have the bandwidth for that. You know, yes, it's disappointing because maybe you really wanted to do that other thing or you had a surprise aligned. But what's more important? That you give agreeance to allow somebody to self prioritize. And if it doesn't work for you, go, oh, actually, I have other friends meeting us there, so I can't change last minute. Maybe you and I can do something later. Great. Or so you can still, follow through with what you need. Or if you weren't meeting anyone and they had to self-prioritize and you were all right with it, because you could be at that time, then you were like, rock on, you need to change, let's do it. Let it roll off your back. We don't need to hold people as accountable anymore for the promises and everything. It's more of like hold people accountable to their self-priorities, to their own intuitive layers. Judy said, I also learned just hearing Maitland, Grace, Colleen speak puts me in a happy space. I love that. She says, I've been going back and listening to past Q&As, looking for answers I've gotten, and I highly recommend this as I've heard so many new things. We have our Q&A today on our YouTube membership. If you are part of the high tier, you get the Q&A where I'll channel Grace and Maitland, and you can ask your question to them, which is really nice. It's very sweet, Judy. Thank you. Being here, says Strange Fruit, and hearing this is validating. How have you managed to get over the fear of looking crazy to others who might not get it? Wow, that is a very wonderful question. It took me a hell of a long time. I will never sugarcoat things to you guys. It took me a long time because I didn't want to be seen different. We all have our shtick. You just got to figure out what yours is. I wanted to be accepted. So If I was different, I was ostracized, and it hurt me on so many other levels. So I lied about what I did for a really long time. I kept it hidden from friends for a really long time. Then when my family, like my dad, my stepmom, very supportive, started talking to me about it and like pulling me into their family reunions and going, let's talk to, you know, Uncle Dan, if you're out there, I know you're there now, so drop by. Um, so talking to family members, that helped me like feel seen a little bit more. But when it came to friends, um, it's a practice and it's a muscle that I built. And I think it came a little bit with age. And when I decided, I know I'm not making this up. I know it for a fact. I hear it. I see it. It is not my imagination. That's been proved to me time and time again through my practice of doing readings and teaching and doing healings. So I had that to lean on. So when I came across the people that were like, whatever, I started to learn the language of how to say, hey, I'm not here to challenge your skepticism. I'm not here to prove what I do to you, like what I do to you. That's what I meant. Inflection matters here. I am not your proof. And if you're seeking certain kind of proof, you need to find it for yourself, not through me, not through another medium, not through another tarot reader or healer or intuitive coach. It has to come through you. So it takes the pressure off knowing that the work that I do, I don't have to prove it to anyone. But my God, it took me so long to figure it out, guys. Yeah, Kiara says, and it's okay to lose friends if you don't resound with them anymore. What is the value of friendship that doesn't allow you to be yourself? Kiara, that is spoken so well. What is the value of it? It's not. And you will find those people that love you for everything that you are and that you can do and don't nurse off of it. I used to have a few friends that would be, so what does my guide say about this? And what should I do about that? And they would call me for that. But I'm like, hi, I'm a human. Do you want to hang out? No, I just wanted to see if, and I'm like, oh, this is not right. Weed your garden. Hey, Darlene. Darlene Myrick is asking, and Luminaires, put your fingers to the keyboard for this. What good books do you recommend for beginners? I don't know what a good book is, but if you're talking about beginners for intuition, I mean, there's so many fields to step into, whether it's learning the sensitivities of crystal energy, learning how to see, but or hear or understand guides. I would go for these nice old books by Ted Andrews. I love them and they still work so well today. Look at their little paperbacks. They're all how to heal with color, how to uncover your past lives, how to do psychic readings through touch. There's many of them, and I think they're still in print over on Amazon. They'll probably still be under $10. Ted Andrews also wrote a lot about animal communication and healing, but he's a very simple writer and he likes to include exercises and science. And that's all I wanted. Oh, we've got other recommendations. The Empath's Spiritual Guide, Life Strategy for Sensitive People. Keep them coming, guys. This is a great book list to make. And of course, Darlene, if you want to join our YouTube membership, our lowest tier, we have a book club. And, oh, the book's not here. We're about to get into the Hathar material. We just were reading one of the Seth Speak books, which was really nice. Okay, driving it back to what we were just beginning with. How do you trust your intuitive abilities? So the how aspect is going to be very different for all of us. You might need more validation than I do, or the next person. Who knows? We're all so different. But I do want to leave you with some key points on the how. First, I want you to document what has occurred intuitively or psychically for you. You think you will remember it, that incredible moment, that aha thing, that knock your socks off, clear information that you just picked up on from the thin air and the subtle light world around us. And it's a game changer, but it's so out of your normal frequency, your brain doesn't know how to hold it. And your mind says, we got to pack this up because I can't keep processing it. I don't know how to do this. So I'm just going to make a little tab and I'm going to label it and I'm going to put it way in the back. And then all of a sudden you lose that connection to that aha moment and it becomes distant. If you write it down, you can go back and you can read it. And all of a sudden that little tab comes forward and it comes forward and you're like, wow, the more times I look at it, the more times I go through it again, I can hold those higher frequencies. And now when those higher frequencies come to me, they're not as elusive. I acknowledge it and I go, oh, that's happening. Another how, another point. And if you haven't done this homework yet, do it. Even if you are, chest deep into the intuitive world and you've been working in the field for ever, try this on. Try it for a week or for a day, whatever you want. One day, a week. You don't need to do it more than a week. It just gets really repetitive and frankly amazing, but still. Get a little pad, like those little ones that flip, little spiral pad and a pen. And I want you to write down every intuitive hit that you get, even if you don't understand it. Like you're sitting at the kitchen, you're like, is that cigarette smoke? But nobody smokes in your house and nobody's smoking outside, but you're like, that's cigarette smoke. Get your little pad, cigarette smoke, 12:39 p.m. Set it down. Keep it in your pocket. Do it throughout the whole day. You are going to be so wowed at how much you actually pick up on that you don't recall or remember because your brain goes, I don't know how to quantify that. So we're just going to label it, tag it, put it in the back, get rid of it. And before you know it, when the day passes, the left side of your brain is going, okay, I didn't know how much we did that. It might apologize to you, but more so, it will start to acknowledge it the next day. It'll go, oh, you're smelling cigarette smoke again. You know that's something, write it down. And it gets excited because now it has a job to identify those intuitive hits. It has a job. Give the left side of your brain a job, write it down. So the following day, you go back to the previous day, and then you can start making sense. Because what? Retrospect is smarter. It's easier to do retrospect than in the now moment assessments. So you look back and you're like, oh my God, you know what? I was eating Aunt Celestine's pound cake and my grandfather loved it and he was a smoker. Oh my God, so he was showing up because I was eating that pound cake. Check. Like it starts to dawn on you. Maitland loves it, hitting the bells. So you go back and you start marking them off. And you might not mark one of these things off maybe until 3 days, 5 days, a week later because your premonition skills are really on point. But you don't recognize it because the left side of your brain is not holding that information in the foreground for you to be able to mark it off or assess it. Okay, there's 2 things. Third thing, I'm gonna make it dramatic. Can we do a drum roll? Okay, you are documenting your deep aha moments, like storytelling in a book, so you can go back and reread it, so you can hold higher frequencies. You're also documenting any intuitive hit that comes to you in a full day cycle, or if you'd like to go the mile, the marathon, do a week. Because you're different on each day of the week, and each day of the week gives you different tasks to do in your routine as a human. Okay, now, the how to trust. This is kind of following up with that point I said in your head that you need to be honest with yourself. Be honest, even if it's scary, even if you figure out you're really, really powerful or you think you might be crazy. I want you to acknowledge what it is. So this could be as going into the act of gratitude that was popping up here on the chat thread. It could be you simply acknowledging your emotion before you get into a conversation, doing breath work to keep you present in your body. Because any of this acknowledgement and this being in the now work, like mindfulness, that is going to give you a larger platform for your intuition to be highlighted. When you're not in the now, you're really running the mental body quite hard. And the physical body is not getting a lot of attention unless it screams, I'm hungry, I gotta pee, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, and then your belief system has to align with, can I take a break? Can I give myself some water? Because you might be in such the trenches of reward punishment that you don't stop to get water because you're in the middle of a task and you're like, I will get a drink of water when I finish this. It's going to take me about an hour to complete this, but I'm not getting up and getting anything until I do this. That will be my reward. So you are depriving yourself of something until you achieve some goal you set for yourself. Because that you actually do to yourself with your intuition. You will withhold appreciation, you will withhold connection or love from your abilities until it comes to you in a certain way. And that might be completely unreasonable. That might be a goal that's unachievable, not realistic, out of reach. Why are you withholding? Something that was taught to you a long time ago. You do this, cause and effect, you get punished. You do that, you get punished. You do that, I withhold my love until you correct it, and then I give it to you. Just let your intuition be what it is. Stay present. Vando Davis, I'm giving you the biggest hugs right now to you and your entire family. Sam, I am. Hi. You find this so helpful. You love the tips? Yay. Tips. We have a ton of them here. And if you want to get into, I just noticed Judy's comment, our book club here is so very special. Please join us. Yes, because if the author or to whom the book is about has transitioned, we invite them in and they contribute to the context of the book. And it's just really nice to learn about their personality and where they were coming from. So it's really interesting. But I was going to share that if you are looking to put some of this into action, there's a 21 days of healing that I'm going to start November 13th. November 13th through the 3rd. Yeah, I think I have my dates right. I'm going to look, while I chat with you to make sure it's right, unless Colleen nabs me first. Yes, it's right. So a 21-day consecutive. So if you're wanting to be more or practice more being in the present moment, if you want to practice your intuitive abilities and what your body is speaking or saying, 21 days of healing will allow you to get into that. And it would be a daily practice for you because I take an hour every day to direct healing specifically to you. And I had a request that I do it in 2 different ways. So I have 21 seats for 21 days for interactive. That's where you come on Zoom with me. I do guided meditations and I talk to you about your healing. I give you updates. I send emails to you on the weekend to let you know what I saw with your energy and what's going on. It's fun. I like it. That's why I do it. And then I have a completely remote. So you have a worksheet that you have for 21 days that you fill in. I focus on your energy for the 21 days, but you don't join into the video and you don't get the personalized updates. It's completely remote and it's at a much reduced price so that you can join in. Lexi Rodriguez. Yes. So there are practices out there that can help you tune in to support how to trust your intuitive abilities. There's that. and putting yourself, around like-minded people. Here it is, the tribe online. You can also find tribes in other online communities or in your local community, crystal bookstores. Just go look, go get out there, find comfortable spaces for you to talk about your craft and what you believe in. I hope this has helped. I have chewed your ear for a while now. We have tonight a channeling that's going to be with some archangels. I'm not fully understanding who is coming through or what's happening, but there'll be a little bit of a lesson and a healing that will come with it. So if you want to connect with us that way, you can look down in the description here or look at the chat thread. We'll have the link up there. And tonight, that is when we are live, which is October 24th. For those that are watching later, thank you. Yay! Guys, thank you very, very, very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Give me a place to work through my aha moments, the difference between belief and trust, and also give opportunity to share some tips and allow you guys to speak about your personal experiences as well. Thank you. Remember, this is not woo-woo. It's true. I heard you say it in your head. That was great. Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye.